You know what separates people who achieve big dreams from those who don't? It's not luck, it's not talent, it's belief. The simple, quiet, powerful belief that you are capable of doing great things. Because the truth is, we act not according to what's actually possible, but according to what we believe is possible. In The Magic of Thinking Big, David Schwartz says it all starts in the mind. If you think small, you'll act small. If you think big, you'll act bold. And your results? They'll always match your mindset. Think about it. How many times have you held yourself back from applying for that job, starting that business, or speaking up in a meeting just because a small voice inside whispered, "You're not ready," or "You're not good enough"? That voice isn't truth, it's fear disguised as realism. Schwartz challenges us to break free from that mindset. He reminds us that belief works like a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you truly believe you can do something, you start finding ways to make it happen. Your energy rises, your focus sharpens, and people start responding to your confidence. Belief is contagious. When you radiate it, others begin to believe in you too. But how do you build that kind of belief when doubt feels louder? Start small. Begin by catching those limiting thoughts. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," replace it with, "How can I make this work?" That tiny shift changes everything because your brain starts looking for solutions instead of excuses. Visualize yourself succeeding, not in some fantasy way, but in vivid emotional detail. See yourself finishing that project, nailing that presentation, or achieving that goal. The more you picture it, the more your mind begins to accept it as reality. And remember, self-confidence isn't arrogance. It's quiet assurance that you have what it takes to learn, grow, and figure things out along the way. The people who think big don't have it all figured out. They just believe they'll find a way. And because they believe it, they usually do. So the first magic of thinking big is this. Believe in yourself even when there's no evidence yet. Believe before you see the result. Because belief doesn't follow success. Success follows belief. Once you accept that, the world around you starts to shift in ways you never thought possible. Most people live their whole lives inside invisible walls, walls built by their own thoughts. They don't dream too high, they don't reach too far, because somewhere along the line they were told, "Be realistic." But here's the twist. What we call realistic is usually just another word for limited. Thinking big isn't about ignoring reality, it's about expanding it. David Schwartz says that the size of your success is determined by the size of your thinking. Small thinking keeps you stuck in safe, predictable circles. Big thinking, on the other hand, pushes you into new territories, challenges, and opportunities you didn't even know existed. When you think big, you start asking bigger questions. Not "How can I get by?" but "How can I make a real difference?" Not "What's the minimum I can do?" but "What's the maximum I'm capable of?" Now, thinking big doesn't mean daydreaming or chasing fame. It means widening your mental lens, seeing yourself, your goals, and your potential in a grander light. It's about asking for more from life because you know you're capable of more. The moment you start to see yourself as someone who deserves good things, who's worthy of success, your actions begin to align with that vision. Here's something powerful. Every great achievement began as a thought. The airplane, the smartphone, every skyscraper, every movement, all of it started in someone's imagination. Big thinkers see possibilities where others see limits. They're not special, they just refuse to let small thoughts dictate their future. So how do you develop a think big mindset? Start by surrounding yourself with people who lift you higher. The energy you absorb from others shapes how far you see yourself going. Next, challenge small language. Replace "I hope" with "I will." Replace "maybe" with "definitely." And lastly, keep your goals just a little out of reach. Not impossible, but big enough to stretch you. Because when you think big, your mind begins to grow to match your vision. You start taking bold actions, speaking with confidence, and attracting opportunities that once seemed out of your league. The world responds differently to people who think differently. So stop asking what's reasonable. Start asking what's possible. That's where the magic begins. Let's be honest, fear and excuses are the biggest dream killers. You can have talent, potential, and ambition, But if fear is in the driver's seat, you'll never get far. David Schwartz calls this mental disease excusitis, and once you see it, you'll realize how often it sneaks into our lives. Excusitis comes in many forms. There's health excusitis. I'd love to chase my goals, but my energy isn't great. There's age excusitis. I'm too young to start, or I'm too old to change. There's intelligence excusitis. I'm not smart enough for that. And then there's luck excusitis. Some people just get lucky. I wasn't born under a lucky star. Sound familiar? These excuses sound logical, but they're really just ways to protect ourselves from discomfort. They let us off the hook before we even try. The truth is, everyone feels fear. Every successful person you admire has battled the same inner doubts you have. The only difference, they move forward anyway. They don't wait for the fear to disappear. They take action despite it. Schwartz reminds us that action is the cure for fear. The longer you wait, the stronger fear grows. But once you take a step, any step, your confidence begins to grow and the fear starts to fade. Here's a mindset shift that helps. Instead of thinking, what if I fail? Try, what if I succeed? Our brains are wired to protect us, so they naturally imagine worst-case scenarios. But if you deliberately visualize success, imagine how good it will feel to make progress, you begin to override that fear circuit. You literally train your brain to expect positive outcomes. And about excuses, stop letting them control your narrative. Every time you say, I can't, you reinforce a limit that doesn't really exist. Catch yourself mid-excuse. Ask, is this fact or fear? You'll often find that it's fear pretending to be logic, and once you see that, you can choose courage instead. Remember, nobody ever built a remarkable life by playing it safe. Fear shrinks when faced, and excuses vanish when replaced by action. The next time fear whispers, you're not ready, smile and take one small step forward anyway. Because the only way to get rid of fear is to walk straight through it, and prove to yourself that it never had power over you in the first place. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build, and the way you build it isn't by waiting to feel ready, it's by acting before you feel ready. David Schwartz says it perfectly, action cures fear. The more you do, the more confident you become. The less you do, the more doubt grows. It's really that simple. Think about the first time you tried anything new, driving a car, speaking in public, starting a new job. You probably felt nervous, unsure, maybe even terrified. But once you started doing it, the fear began to fade. Why? Because experience replaces uncertainty with evidence. Every time you take action, you gather proof that you're capable. Confidence is built from these small wins, not from waiting for the perfect moment. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that confidence comes first, then action follows. But it's actually the other way around. You act first, then the confidence shows up. Just like a muscle, confidence strengthens with use. The more you step into discomfort, the more natural it becomes to handle challenges that once scared you. So how do you put this into practice? Start by taking small, consistent actions. Don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. If public speaking scares you, speak up once in a meeting. If you want to start a business, take one simple step today. Research your idea, talk to a potential customer, or write your plan. Each action is like a deposit in your confidence bank. The more you deposit, the richer your self-belief becomes. Another powerful habit is to celebrate small victories. Most people only celebrate the big wins, but true confidence is built in the micro moments, the times you show up even when it's uncomfortable. Acknowledge your courage, no matter how small it feels. That recognition reinforces the belief that you can handle more. Finally, remember this. People who appear confident aren't fearless. They've just learned to take action despite fear. They trust that they'll figure things out along the way. So instead of waiting for the right mood, the right time, or the right level of self-assurance, take one bold step today. Because confidence doesn't come from thinking about it, it comes from doing it. And the more you do, the more unstoppable you become. Your attitude is like a magnet. It either pulls opportunities toward you or pushes them away. David Schwartz emphasizes that success doesn't start with skills or luck. It starts with a positive mental attitude. The way you think shapes the way you feel, and the way you feel shapes the way you act. When your attitude is positive, your actions become powerful. When it's negative, even the best plans fall flat. Think about the people you enjoy being around. Chances are, they radiate good energy. They make you feel hopeful, motivated, and capable. That's not a coincidence. Positive people create environments where ideas and possibilities thrive. On the other hand, negativity drains creativity and confidence. A bad attitude makes every problem look bigger, and every opportunity look smaller. As Schwartz says, the size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. And belief is sustained by a positive mindset. Here's a simple truth. Life is largely about perspective. Two people can face the same situation. One sees a dead end, the other sees a detour to something better. The difference isn't the circumstance, it's the attitude. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. And your response determines whether you rise or stay stuck. Positive thinking isn't about ignoring challenges or pretending everything's perfect. It's about choosing to focus on what you can control and finding the lesson or opportunity in every obstacle. For example, instead of saying, "This is too hard," say, "This is a chance to grow." Instead of, "I failed," say, "I learned what doesn't work." It's not just feel-good advice, and it's rewiring your brain to operate from empowerment, not limitation. Here's something powerful you can try. Start your day by asking, "What's good about today?" It sounds small, but it trains your mind to look for possibilities instead of problems. The more you practice gratitude and optimism, the more natural it becomes to see the bright side, and that directly affects your results. Remember, people are drawn to positive energy. Employers hire it, friends appreciate it, and opportunities flow toward it. A winning attitude turns average abilities into exceptional outcomes. So if you want to think big and live big, guard your attitude like treasure, because your attitude isn't just how you see the world, it's the lens through which your world is created. Big thinking without clear goals is just wishful dreaming. David Schwartz makes it clear, people who achieve extraordinary success aren't just lucky or smarter. They think big by setting specific, meaningful goals and using creativity to reach them. Goals give your big thoughts structure. They turn imagination into action. Without them, even the most powerful ideas fade away. Think of goals as your personal GPS. They tell your mind where to go and help filter out distractions. But Schwartz reminds us, don't just set small, safe goals that you know you can reach. Set goals that stretch you, ones that make you a little nervous, because that's where growth happens. If your goals don't excite or scare you even a little, they're not big enough. Now, once you've set those big goals, the next step is to think creatively about how to achieve them. Schwartz believed that success belongs to people who learn to think up instead of think down. Instead of saying it can't be done, they ask, how can it be done? That simple shift opens the door to innovation. Creative thinking is really just problem solving from a bigger perspective. When you stop focusing on obstacles and start focusing on possibilities, your brain begins finding ways around limitations. Here's a practical exercise. Write down your main goal, then challenge yourself to list 10 different ways to achieve it. Don't judge the ideas. Just let your creativity flow. You'll be surprised how many new paths appear once you stop thinking there's only one way. Often, the most successful people aren't the ones who had the perfect plan. They're the ones who kept thinking, adjusting, and inventing new strategies until something worked. Another powerful tip from Schwartz: visualize your success in vivid detail. Don't just wish for it. See it, feel it, believe it. Imagine the end result, and then work backward to map out the steps. When your mind knows what the destination looks like, it begins finding routes to get there, even subconsciously. And don't forget, goals aren't just for career or money. They can be for personal growth, relationships, health, or happiness. The key is to think in terms of expansion. How can you become more, give more, and experience more? Every time you write down a goal, you're making a contract with yourself to grow beyond your current limits. So don't be afraid to dream big and think creatively. Big thinkers don't wait for the perfect plan. They create it as they go. Remember, Goals are the bridges between dreams and reality. The moment you decide exactly what you want and start thinking boldly about how to get it, you've already started building that bridge. No matter how talented or ambitious you are, success is never a solo journey. David Schwartz reminds us that big thinkers understand the power of relationships. They know how to lift others up, inspire confidence, and build genuine connections that multiply success. Thinking big isn't just about what you achieve personally, it's about how you help others grow along the way. Leadership, according to Schwartz, begins with how you treat people. Real leaders don't dominate or intimidate. They encourage, listen, and make others feel capable. They see potential where others see flaws, and because of that, people naturally want to follow them. Think of the best leader or mentor you've ever had. They probably didn't just give orders. They made you believe you could do more than you thought possible. That's the essence of big thinking in relationships. One key trait of successful leaders is respect. Respect for others' time, opinions, and differences. Small thinkers criticize, gossip, and compete out of insecurity. Big thinkers, on the other hand, collaborate. They build bridges instead of walls. They focus on possibilities instead of problems. When you think big, you understand that helping others succeed never takes away from your own success. It expands it. Here's something practical. Make it a daily habit to express genuine appreciation. Compliment people sincerely, give credit freely, and acknowledge effort even when results aren't perfect. A few kind words can completely change someone's motivation and outlook. Schwartz emphasizes that encouragement is a leadership superpower. It costs nothing, but it can transform people and teams. Another aspect of leadership is communication. Big thinkers know how to talk positively about others. They avoid negative talk because they understand that words create energy, and energy spreads. When you speak well of people, they feel valued, and that value returns to you through trust and goodwill. Finally, remember that leadership isn't about a title. It's about influence. You lead every day, whether you realize it or not. You lead your family, your co-workers, your friends, and most importantly, yourself. The question is, are you leading from fear or from vision? Big thinkers lead from vision. They inspire confidence not because they have all the answers, but because they believe answers can always be found. So if you want to think big, start by thinking generously. Support others. Believe in their potential as fiercely as you believe in your own. When you help people rise, you rise with them, because at its core, the magic of thinking big isn't just about building a great life. It's about building a great impact. Big thinking sounds inspiring, but here's the real question. How do you make it a daily habit? How do you turn all these ideas into actions that actually change your life? David Schwartz says that success isn't built in a single moment of motivation. It's built in the small, consistent choices you make every day. Big thinking has to become a lifestyle, not just a mindset. Start each day by feeding your mind with something positive. The first thoughts you have in the morning set the tone for your entire day. Instead of grabbing your phone and scrolling through negativity, take a few minutes to visualize your goals. Picture yourself already achieving them. Feel the confidence, the pride, the joy. That mental rehearsal programs your brain to act in alignment with success. Next, surround yourself with big thinkers. Energy is contagious, and the people you spend time with directly influence how you think and what you believe is possible. If you're around people who constantly complain or play small, you'll slowly start shrinking your own vision. But when you connect with dreamers, doers, and optimists, their belief fuels yours. Be intentional about your circle. It can literally shape your future. Another key habit: practice gratitude and reflection. Take 5 minutes each evening to ask yourself, what did I do today that moved me closer to my goals? And what can I improve tomorrow? This simple check-in keeps your growth on track. Progress isn't about giant leaps. It's about steady, deliberate steps in the right direction. Schwartz also reminds us to think big even in small actions. Whether it's how you dress, how you talk, or how you approach your work, carry yourself like the person you want to become. Excellence is a habit, not an event. When you consistently give your best effort, opportunities naturally start gravitating toward you. And perhaps most importantly, never stop learning. Read books, listen to podcasts, watch content that challenges your thinking. Every new idea expands your mental horizons just a little more. Growth-minded people don't wait for success. They prepare for it. So as we wrap up, remember this. The magic of thinking big isn't about being perfect. It's about believing in yourself, setting bold goals, and taking consistent action every single day. Don't let fear or doubt shrink your dreams. Start thinking big right now in every decision you make. If you found value in this video, make sure to like it, share it with someone who needs this message, and subscribe to Audiobook Library. For more inspiring book summaries and life-changing lessons, keep thinking big, keep taking action, and I'll see you in the next video.